Coral Hammock was born out of the necessity of solving a very concerning problem, one that has to do with contamination and the destruction of the environment. The goal of the project is both to raise awareness about the consequences of indiscriminate contamination and some of the problems that this brings, and also to provide corals with a safe space for them to grow and eventually develop into reefs. The first step towards creating our man-made environment was the development of the coral reef nursery itself, a project that we called Coral Sotabosco. This early project came to existence out of the idea of combining two different elements that would represent the two main users of this project: a marine element intended to represent fish, corals, and any other species of marine animals, and an architectural element intended to represent humans. These elements would also need to satisfy the condition of looking like they could be very well found in the other element's environment. In other words, the marine element should look like it could be an architectural machination of some sort, and the architectural element should look like it could be found at the bottom of the sea. To represent the marine element, a certain species of marine sponge, known as glass sponge, was chosen. The reason for this selection was its very intricate growing pattern that closely resembles some type of scaffolding or lateral bracing system. On the other hand, the fan vault, an element typical from English Gothic construction, was chosen to represent the architectural element that would compose the project. In order to continue with the development of our project, an analysis on large-scale social housing was conducted. A large number of proposed and completed social housing projects were selected to be analyzed, taking into consideration some important factors. The first requisite the precedents had to fulfill was modularity. Most of the projects analyzed had a modular aspect to it. This allowed for repetition to occur and made the task of creating large superstructures easier. The second requisite that had to be fulfilled was that the precedents had to generate intricate and non-repetitive spatial typologies with these modular elements. Within all the precedents analyzed, the ones that influenced the design the most were projects from metabolist architects Arata Isozaki and Keisho Kurokawa. Among their many statements and concepts, the ones that resonated with their cause the most were their view on the fragility of human settlements and their ideas about generative design. For them, human settlements were condemned to be eventually destroyed, whether by a catastrophe caused by nature or by direct human intervention. These ideas of organic growth and the rather ephemeral existence of human settlements led us to develop our project in a way that would resemble one of the most representative natural communities of South Florida, the Rockland Hammock. This natural community is made up of trees and different kinds of vegetation that grow in a very thin layer of topsoil, with most of the roots coming into direct contact with the limestone subsoil that predominates in this region. A long time ago, this Rockland Hammock, alongside the limestone outcrops on top of which it grows, known as the Miami Rock Ridge, used to be found all along the coastline of Miami. Unfortunately, due to urban development, now it has been reduced to a mere remnant of the natural landscape of a pre-developed Miami, with only a couple of protected areas left scattered along the city's waterfront. Taking advantage of the forest-like qualities of the Coral Nursery project developed in the earlier stages of the overall design process, the vegetation of the Rockland Hammock takes shape of our coral sotabosco, while the limestone substrate takes the form of the lattice-like system that was devised from the abstraction of the previously mentioned analysis of the social housing and metabolist projects.